Does that not sound so enticing? All the Spirited Away vibes. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Yuna, and today I'm going to be doing another book review. The book I'm going to be talking about today is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie Oh. So I wasn't actually planning to do a review for this book until I read it and I just have to say that I loved this book. I loved it so much. Not that I was expecting to not like it, but it definitely exceeded my expectations, and here's why. So basically, I had read one other book by Axie Oh, and that one was XOXO. That one was like a contemporary book, kind of like about a girl who meets like a K-pop star, that kind of vibe. I liked that book, but it was a little bit predictable. So I think going into this book, I kind of expected it to also be predictable, but it was not. So to start off, I will tell you a little bit about the book. Okay, I'm gonna just like read off the synopsis because there's a lot sort of happening in here, and then I'll tell you my thoughts after. So basically, Mina lives in a place where deadly storms have ravaged her home for generations. Her people believe in the existence of a sea god, and they believe that each year they need to sacrifice a beautiful maiden in order to appease him and sort of prevent the storms from killing them and destroying the village. And in their town, many people believe that this girl named Simchong, who is very beautiful, is the next bride who needs to be sacrificed. So Simchong is about to be sacrificed, but Mina's older brother June is actually in love with her. So he goes off to try to prevent her from being sacrificed. Mina then goes off in order to try to save her brother, and in the process she ends up sacrificing herself instead to save both Simchong and June. So then what happens is Mina gets swept off into the spirit realm, and there she does meet the sea god, only to find that the sea god is in this deep enchanted sleep, and she ends up having to team up with a mysterious young man and a motley crew of demons and spirits in order to try to wake the sea god and bring an end to the killer storms once and for all. The sort of caveat here is that a human cannot live long in the land of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. Does that not sound so enticing? Like, I read the synopsis and I was like, okay, I need to read this because Simchong is a fairy tale in Korean culture that I grew up with. And it's basically like about this girl. She's very beautiful and she sacrifices herself to be the sea god's bride out of love for her father. And I am very intrigued to see this story set in the perspective of someone that's not Simchong. This is interesting. Basically, it's like a new character, just a regular girl who just wanted to save her brother. That was like the most of my interest. Like, I was just like, oh, I like that it's based on this fairy tale that I grew up with, and I wonder like how the author will deal with that and what changes they will make. But then upon starting the book, I was pleasantly surprised by all the vibes. Like, this book, okay, coincidentally, like a week before I started this book, I watched Spirited Away for the first time ever, and I know people will yell at me, like I for some reason have never watched it. So I watched it with my friend, and then a week later I pick up this book, and it had all the Spirited Away vibes. Like, if you have read this book, you will definitely see the similarities. Like, I have to believe that the author was slightly influenced by Spirited Away because there are very many similarities, and I'm not complaining. Like, it was so great. I was like, oh, this is like so beautiful. And I was just like reading away. I will say the beginning was like a little bit slower, but if you've seen Spirited Away, it's kind of similar, where it's like the beginning is kind of slow, but like also so kind of suspenseful. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. I was very hooked once I sort of like felt the Spirited Away vibes. I personally thought that it just got better and better. Because I personally knew the fairy tale, I kind of expected it to go a certain way. And I encourage you all to actually search up the fairy tale, just like Google it, like it's just Simchong, the fairy tale. It will probably make your reading experience better. But anyway, so I love this book. The plot was, I will say, not super fast paced. Like, it's a little bit slower in the beginning, if I'm gonna be really objective, but near like the end bit, it gets really fast paced and exciting. there's just like a bunch of twists and turns that I really liked. In terms of like the romance, I will say like the romance is a little bit fast, but for some reason I didn't really mind, and I wonder if that's because it's like a myth, you know? Like sometimes when you're reading more like mythology based books, I'm able to sort of suspend my belief that like a romance could happen that quickly kind of thing. Like I am like kind of more okay with it. So I was okay with it. Maybe you won't be, but that's okay. For me, until maybe like the third quarter of the book, I was like, okay, this is like a solid 4. I was like, I'm very much enjoying this, but I actually ended up giving it 5 stars because I really liked the way it ended. Like for me, it just ended in a way that I didn't expect in the best way. And for me, like that kind of made up for it. Like I don't need a book to be perfect in order to give it 5 stars. So for me, like I just loved how I felt after finishing the book, and I was like, okay, I need to give this 5 stars. Like it was all the vibes. I liked the plot, I liked the romance, and I was surprised, you know, like plot wise, I was really surprised, happily surprised at the end of the book how everything turned out. I think the book is written a little bit more for like slightly younger YA, but I was okay with it because I was kind of expecting it going into it, because I had read a book by Axie Oh before, and that one had also been a little bit more like younger YA, the way it was written. But I would say this one wasn't like, that didn't take away from my reading experience at all. Yeah, like it was very beautifully written. It might be for a little bit of a younger audience, but for me it was still really pleasant to read. I just really liked this book, and after finishing it I was like, okay, I need to post a review on this because it was so good, and I need to like share my happiness of finding a book that I really liked, which it's been kind of a while. Like I haven't read like a book where at the end I was like, oh, that was so good in a while. So I'm really happy about this, and I really hope that all of you decide to read this. Okay, so sorry, my battery died, so I'm really sorry if the lighting like completely changed. I had to charge it for like 30 minutes. So I feel like the lighting did change, but oh well. I was like nearing the end of my happy little rant about this book. I wanted to just end off with one thing, is that my favorite part of this book, or favorite aspect of this book, is that it has such a heavy focus on family, and I think that's where it got me. Like there were a few times there where kind of like teared up a little bit, and it was because of sort of like the family component of this book and how much Mina, the main character, cares for her family. So yeah, I think that's truly what made me really love this book, combined with all the other aspects. Like it was like a really beautiful mythological retelling. There was a lot of action, there was a cute little romance, a twist in the myth as well, but mostly it was like the family aspect that I really loved. So yeah, I really encourage all of you to pick this book up for a fun, action-packed, also cute, romantic read. I really enjoyed this, and I'm really happy I picked it up. For me, it exceeded expectations, and it was 5 stars. I can't wait to read more of Axie Oh's books, because I know this one was like her newest release, I think. But anyways, so yeah, this is my 5-star read that I had to update you guys on. Yeah, I just hopped on here without even my battery fully charged because I was so excited to talk about this book. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope you liked my little quick review today. I'll see you guys in my next video soon. Bye!